went to the seminary in Ghazir, Lebanon. They said, they sent you here because the theology in the University of Beirut, of the Jesuits, they teach in Latin. I said, I know a little bit. He said, no, help at the seminary, and after 2 years studying Latin, then you go to the University of the Jesuits for philosophy and theology. Okay, I finished the 2 years, not only studying, but helping, supervising, helping the youngsters and all this at the seminary. I went and I told them I finished 2 years of studying Latin. You want me to go now to the university? They said, yeah, if you know French. They changed now from the Latin to French. I said, French, I know. And I went for 6 years, 2 years in theology, in philosophy in Beirut, and 4 years of liturgy and theology, philosophy, theology, and all this. It's like putting things in a person. He cannot contain all these knowledge. And then I went to Adosigi. It was a small place, maybe 15 families, working day and night to live. And I will go at least once a month with other seminarians and help them. The year I was ordained around Easter, I helped in a parish in Beirut. And as a surprise, I wanted to go and visit those villages that they didn't have a priest. But the priest I helped as a deacon said, we want you to come and say the midnight mass on Easter. I couldn't move. Because when I went, wow, there were more people outside than inside the church that evening. I was really shivering. First Mass with hundreds of people. The bishop or the archbishop of Tyre these days, and told him they need a parish, they need a church. Oh, there are not too many people and they can't. So he came with an architect and said, okay, you go 1, 2, 3 paces there. And when he left, I added 1. And they started building. I would work with them every time I go digging to build that church. After finishing 2 years in Marabda, I asked to go to Paris for the catechesis. I loved it because I tried to take our liturgy and our ways of saying Mass, the best of catechism. But they were always using the books from Europe, from French. I didn't like that. But in Paris, I deepened the meaning of catechesis. And the catechism was something for me. Christ himself taught us about catechism. And the first book I think I wrote, I couldn't afford to write books, but a school in Lebanon who was teaching people about catechism and how to teach catechism, they asked me if I could write a book. They didn't pay me. They gave me 5 books only from every print. And I took the title, The Road to Emmaus, a new model for catechesis. Huh? What do you mean? I said, see how Christ walked with the 2 disciples that were leaving to their place, Emmaus, and they didn't recognize him. But he was talking to them. That was his catechism. There was a church and an older priest. I stayed at the rectory, but very often I was in my room studying English through the TV, through machines. And after 6 weeks, I said my liturgy, the Mass, and preached in English. But they scared the heck out of me because they were knocking one at another and laughing. I said I must be making many mistakes. After Mass, I went out and said, hey, come here. Why were you laughing? He said, because our priest has been here for 28 years. And every time he preached in English, he made mistakes. And you didn't make one mistake. I said, but you scared the heck out of me. And I thought I made more mistakes. He said, no, we were happy to hear you. And I continued. I was there for 2 years. I didn't like to stay in the States. I called our bishop and said, after 2 years, I would like to go to Lebanon. I said, not for good. Go for vacation and you come back. So I went. And one of the bishops in Lebanon asked me to be with him in Syria. I said, hey, talk to the Pope, talk to anybody. So after 2 years I came back. They sent me to Washington to help in the seminary.
The kingdom of God is justice and peace.
I said, when the eagle builds the nest, he goes to the highest place in the tree. And when the little one is ready to be pushed, they will push him, and he will go under him, catch him on his back. And the eagle has so many good things. So we should be better than the eagles if we study our texts and if we know that our Mass is the best liturgy. Because the priest at the beginning, he says a little prayer. It tells them what is going on. And then they continue. They continue. And it's building and giving life.
Bless the Lord, my soul, and bless God's holy name.
Where would you want the church to be 50 years from now? The Maronite Church in the United States, 50 years from now.
first to relive the real Maronite tradition, and especially the liturgy, meaning the Mass, so that people could understand it and understand Christ and His teaching. But unfortunately, no, we keep talking outside the church until the gospel we go in and then we leave. And I pushed in every parish I served that the church is the greatest lesson religiously for us if we know how to listen and how to live it in our family, with our children, and as a community. You know, after working all these years, starting in Lebanon and here and all this, I found it very difficult sometimes for bishops to accept it, for priests to accept it, and for people to understand it and live it. Serving it for all these years is a joy. It's a difficulty, but it's a joy.